Hi guys, Dr. Keith Ladner, double board certified facial plastic surgeon, and we are back with another episode of Your Face Unfiltered. Today is a really special day because we are not interviewing a patient, we're interviewing the spouse of a patient. So Sara, who we've previously interviewed, who gave a very candid testimonial of her experience with her surgeries and the practice, and now we have Sara's husband, Trent, who's going to give his perspective as the spouse going through this experience. So thank you for being here.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you for having us both.
of course. So Trent was gracious enough to volunteer his time to give us really kind of an inside peek of what it's like to go through the whole process, start to, well, almost finish with Sara. She's 5 months out, and what that was really like. So my first question is, when Sara mentioned being interested in surgical procedures, right, to change her appearance. I mean, quite honestly, right?
Yeah.
What was your initial reaction? What was that like?
Yeah, sure. So, great question. So my initial reaction was, I'm very partial to my wife. I think she's beautiful, and that was my initial reaction. I'm like, surgery? You don't need any surgery. You're beautiful. You look amazing.
Yep.
And so that was my initial reaction right off of the bat.
Yeah.
However, I'm no expert in skincare, and I have a different perspective. Being a male. Going into our 40s and things like that. And she's been very interested in skincare for a long time. And she's, very diligent about the products that she uses and how she goes about it. So I was definitely open-minded to it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And obviously you had to have some concerns, some hesitations. You were going to be supportive, of course, like, any good husband, spouse. What were the things that were racing through your mind though, that were like, oh my gosh, I'm worried about this, or...
Yeah, I think that in today's day and age, the first concern was quality. I think it's easy to see with social media. We have so much exposure to people that have certain procedures done. And so my mind goes to, okay, is this a slippery slope, right? Is this where we start? And then perhaps do we go too far?
Right.
And then we deal with the ramifications of that on the back end. So that was initially kind of where my mind went. But I guess the overall was quality. Who's going to do it? And of course, how much is it going to cost? Right. Right. That's where I'm like, okay, well, let's slow down a little bit, and so those were the things that I was really, my kind of hesitations were, I think the biggest thing, just thinking about my wife is, I want this to be something she's going to be pleased with after the fact.
Definitely.
And something that she's not going to regret. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then you were, really integral part of her consultation process and involved throughout all of her, healing afterwards.
Yeah.
What would you say your experience was like with, the staff when you were speaking to them and just the consultation? Did that make you feel, more confident, or was it what you expected, or how did that go?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, coming into it, again, kind of with the same theme of Sara being very diligent about her research, she told me that she had found you. That found Dr. Ladner's office.
Right.
And she felt very comfortable based on the research that she had done with both your practices and reviews and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I came in kind of, I wasn't really on edge.
Yeah.
But it's been a great experience, coming in with the consultation. I mean, for meeting Chance and Julian in the front, and then coming back and talking with the staff, in the back office, so to speak. I just thought you guys were really patient, understood our questions, very supportive. So it was a very comfortable experience for me, and it made me feel good. I think, again, back to the quality and cost, I felt like we were on the right track there.
Right.
This is not something that I want the least expensive of, right? You know what I mean? Right. I'm not like searching for the, price low to high on Amazon like I do with some other things.
Sure.
So that experience just put me in a really comfortable place with how we were proceeding.
Yeah. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay, so now fast forward, now surgery day, reality's hitting. It's like, okay, my wife's about to undergo anesthesia, have an elective procedure, right? It's not, this is not a cancer procedure, right, to cure cancer. This is not a, a knee replacement to improve the quality of life in that respect.
Right.
And she's back there. You're kind of by yourself. Probably feels like forever.
Yeah.
What was going through your mind on the day of surgery?
Well, you know, this may not this may not come to everyone's mind initially, but you know, we're a faith-based family,
Yeah.
so there's a spiritual component to
Yep.
this. You know, we're like, is this something that we should do? That, you know, are we allowed to do this?
Right.
So we've been prayerful about it coming into the process,
Yeah.
right? And especially on game day, you know,
Yeah.
and going under anesthesia is a concern, of course. But, you know, you guys have put us really at ease. The anesthesiologist was very professional, very kind and gentle. And so
Yep.
I felt like, of course, we were nervous, and there was some, you know, there were some nerves there. But I think we felt very confident that we were in the right hands.
Okay, great.
You know, and if I can go into during the procedure,
Yeah.
I came with Sara, obviously.
Yep.
I found a coffee shop to work out of while
Yep.
the procedure was going on. The staff was just texting me, giving me updates, you know.
Yep.
So I felt connected, you know, to the process, and they were really putting my mind at ease that things were going well.
Okay, so now fast forward a little bit more. Now reality is really hitting, which is Sarah's done with surgery. You're coming back to the office to see her, transport her home, or to the hotel rather. And what was your initial reaction when you saw her? She's bandaged up and everything.
I think there's some unavoidable shock there. You know, I think intellectually I knew what to expect. Obviously, Luciana, you know, walked us through that, and she was communicating with me during the surgery, so I felt connected in that way. But yeah, there was some shock value. There's a little swelling, that, you know, the head wrap's going on, and she's kind of out of it still a little bit. So I think I just kind of went into protector mode, like, okay, you know, what do we need to do? And Luciana was very helpful, because obviously my next concern was, okay, I need a list, right, of what we need and when we need it,
Yeah.
right? So that felt good. But yeah, there was some initial shock just seeing that. And, you know, Sara said some funny things to you guys during surgery, and Luciana shared some of that with me. So that was
Yeah.
cute, you know, and you know, it's always fun kind of talking to somebody just coming out from coming out of anesthesiology, you know,
Exactly.
or anesthesia. Excuse me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, people have seen those funny videos. Yeah. Kid goes to the dentist and you're just saying funny things, and, you know,
yeah,
kind of
exactly.
coming to. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So get back to the hotel, and I'm sure first few hours are an overwhelming feeling, because again, you just want to make sure you're doing things right, watching out for, you know, red flags, you know, things, you know, that could be concerning, of course.
Yep.
What was the toughest part in the first few days as the spouse to kind of witness and or help out with, or what was that like?
Yeah, I mean, I think preparation is key, right? Planning ahead is key. You guys gave us some great tips. I think staying in a hotel the first night here was super helpful. I would just recommend to anybody. I kind of dropped the ball and didn't plan the ready-to-eat food. Having that already, the things that she could eat, you know, the Boost, Ensure, that kind of thing, soup.
Yeah.
So I kind of had to get her set and then go out to the store, which was not ideal. I mean, it was fine, but just having those items ahead of time.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was, again, I mean, just preparation, having the list of what she needs and when she needs it. We were very comfortable. We were very, you know, it didn't take us long to get there.
Yeah.
So there's just a little heightened sense of awareness. You want to be checking things, checking the swelling. But I felt really confident because you guys were accessible via text. You know, we had any questions, concerns, or text. Luciana, she'd respond right back.
Yeah.
And we really didn't. I think really the only hiccup was that I had not gotten the food items that I had wanted to get ahead of time. So that was the hotel. Going the next day home, I think it's just like the mobility thing. You want to be upright, and, you know, you don't want to raise the blood pressure. So just taking the time to move slowly and have things kind of prepare the way ahead of her. And she did some things. So just kind of insider tips, like she bought a couple different pillows that she thought would be good for propping her up. What ended up working the best was the recliner. So we were a little sad to be separated at night, because she wanted to sleep in the recliner, but it worked really well. It worked really well. So, and again, I had my notepad with my list and times and all of those things. And so we just did it like clockwork, you know, just paid attention, and I had to miss her mom it for a few days because we really didn't want her blood pressure to be elevated. So I wanted to make it as easy as possible, and we were able to do that. So I would just say planning ahead for that as well. Whatever whatever it is that you need to do to plan ahead for that person that's having the surgery to just really be able to relax.
Definitely. Yep. Yeah, and I mean, obviously, a lot of our patients, clients, they have kids that they also need to take care of, right, at the same time, or maybe even a parent that living in their house that they need to take care of. So lots of situations, and so also planning for that and maybe having a little bit extra help, because your attention is going to be and should be, on your wife or, a husband, depending on the case.
Yeah.
And it's hard to clone yourself and be in two places at
Yeah.
once. So,
Yeah, absolutely. And we have a little built-in help. We have a teenager, so he was able to help look after our 5-year-old. We kind of took shifts. I was able to work from home a little bit as well. So we definitely prepared for that, so she could just rest and heal up.
Yep. Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you've got past the acute healing and you're starting to see results with Sara and her surgeries. How have you seen it change her confidence or just sort of her presentation to the world?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So it was kind of an exciting process, things started to tighten up and firm up and she was just so excited. She felt like she felt like her goals had really been accomplished. Right. Again, I said I was hesitant because I thought, oh, you look amazing, and her approach was really, going into my 40s, I want to get ahead of it. Right. So I want to keep what I've got, improve it a little bit going in, to my mid and late 40s. And so that she really was excited about that. She's like, this is the face you fell in love with. And, and so it was fun. I think, I think she's beautiful and it was great. We compared to some of her older photos, we're like, oh, wow, it's pretty amazing, so it's been really good. And, her confidence has been we have a young daughter now, right? We started over, we were brave souls and we started over. And so now we're the older parents, right? When we go to the kindergarten things and you can relate. So that was a big deal too, is like just feeling confident and not, just feeling confident and feeling good in her own skin. And I think she's definitely done that. And of course we get just so many compliments, she already was getting compliments about her skin and now it's, everybody's like, and she has friends of course that are like, what'd you do? And all that kind of stuff. So it's been really fun.
Awesome. Yeah. And Sara has incredible healthy skin, beautiful,
awesome.
beautiful skin.
Yeah.
So
thank you for saying that.
That always helps with the healing for sure.
Yeah.
One final question. Now having been through this experience, what piece of advice or tips would you give other spouses that are also supporting their loved one through this process?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think we had a great experience, especially with your practice. I think on my own, like personal wise, I think I would have really kind of dove in more to the actual, like, what is the procedure called and actually what's happening. I mean, she described it to me, but if I could do it all over again, I would have went and kind of, and just for fun, right? Just so I could really talk with her and engage with her about it, because it was really an experience that we went through together. Obviously I was supporting her, post surgery. So if I could do it all over again, I think I would have got a little more involved in just knowing exactly what was happening.
Yeah.
Just for that engagement with her, wanting to kind of be part of her experience and what excites her. Again, food, get all your supplies that you need. We had all the medical supplies, so definitely get that stuff. Definitely Sara was, again, so diligent about researching what is she going to need afterwards, what kind of support pillow and these type of things. So obviously set those people up that are going to be helping you post-op. And just preparation going into it. And other than that, I think you can rely on Dr. Ladner's office, to take care of you and give you the information that you need, because we had never been through this before. And so we kind of feel like pros, now that we have been through it. So
you got one under your belt.
Exactly.
Well, that's great. Thanks again to Trent for being here, being super candid with his experience going through with a loved one. And being supportive with something that was clearly very unknown. So thank you for being here and giving us that, testimonial. So if you liked our content today, please be sure to like the video and subscribe to our page. And that's it for today.